Hey everyone, so welcome back to another Exos Heroes video. Today I want to talk about legendary heroes that can help you progress in the story. So if you've seen any beginner's guide out there, they're going to tell you the very first thing you should do is progress in the story. And that is true, but some of the reasons why, I don't know if they go over in full detail, so I just wanted to touch on that. The first thing is, and probably one of the most important things, is the more you progress in the story, the more of these challenges you'll unlock. And you get 3 tickets a day on most of these. Some you get 5 for like the arena. Raid is a certain amount, but anyway, the further along you progress in the story, the more of these challenges you will unlock. So that's the first thing that's very important about beating the story as fast as you can. The second thing is the further you progress in the story, you'll be able to unlock these special dungeons, which allow you to eventually try and get the Star of Fates, which is how you craft fated equipment, which is probably the most important thing in the game. So that's reason number 2. Reason number 3 is whenever you do smart exploration, you know, you're away from the game kind of exploring thing to get items, your drops are much better whenever you get to this last stage, which is this frost stage, and you need to get to, I think you need to beat chapter 10 episode 1 to unlock this, I believe. But you can get, you know, very good drops. You can get legendary equipment from here just by, you know, being away from your game. Using your leva stones, you can get, you know, these holy waters, although it is rare, but it is possible. You get a lot of XP, gold, so that's the other reason why it's very important to progress in the story mode. So with that being said, I wanted to talk about some characters that can help you progress if you are stuck. I do need to mention, though, if you have the possibility of getting one of these first Guardian Fate Core units right here that have been releasing back to back. Right now you have a chance at this Fate Core Baraka. He has this passive, as you can see here, the Great One passive, along with Dragon Blood, Wrath, Dragon Scale. If you don't understand these things, basically it's going to make your unit unkillable if they get attacked enough. And in the story mode, you know, a lot of your characters are going to die, and your strongest character, usually these FC units, are going to be the last one standing, and they're going to be attacked a lot. And it's basically going to trigger this passive, and it's going to make them very hard to kill. That's how I beat the story mode. I had FC Baelish. Whenever I first started playing this game, his banner was available for me to pull on, and I had to pity him. So it took me 18 pulls, so it was a lot of Zez, but I eventually got him, and it basically helped me, you know, beat the story mode. But if you don't have that option, if you are watching this video later and, you know, Baraka is no longer the banner, maybe some of these legendaries will help you progress in the story mode. And one last thing before we get into the characters, I do want to mention some things that you should look out for, even if you don't have these legendary characters. Maybe you can find them on rare characters or even fated characters. There's 3 main things you want to look out for. The first one is characters that have these low-cost AoE attacks, basically attacks that attack everybody, because the main goal is to break Guardian Stones from the enemy to pretty much allow them not to have a turn, and it also makes them much weaker. So that's the first thing. You want to have units that have low-cost AoE attacks. The second one is if the character has a damage over time effect, something like a poison or, you know, freezer burn, or I forget what it's called, frostbite, I think it's called, freezer burn, frostbite. It's going to act as an additional attack even if you're not attacking on a Guardian Stone. So if the enemy has 2 Guardian Stones and you attack them, and you put a frostbite damage over time effect on it, whenever they attack, that frostbite effect is going to activate and break that stone. So you basically attack twice, but only needing to attack once. So those are also very important. The damage over time stuff is very good in the story mode. It's not very good in the arena, so please note that. And then the last thing that you want to look for is units that have some kind of mana generation for your team, or also revive abilities, so they can revive all of your characters after they die. The further you progress into the story mode, you'll notice that you have heroes that pretty much one-shot your team, no matter how strong they are. So you need units that bring them back to life. So those are the 3 things you should look out for, okay? With that being said, let's get into some of these characters that I have picked out. So I have at least 2 heroes in each element, and some have 3. So that's how we'll go through this. The first element we're going to look at is fire, and our first hero is Corgi, actually. Corgi is very good for some of the reasons that I mentioned, some of the things you want to look for in your characters. So if you look at her attacks here, she deals 51 damage to all enemies with only a 2 mana cost. So that's pretty low cost, which is very nice to attack all enemies. Even though it's not a high damage dealing, it's still going to break Guardian Stones easily. And then it also has a damage over time effect. So she's going to be able to break a lot of characters very easily for a low cost. And then her second effect is 420% piercing damage to one enemy. So she serves 2 purposes. She can help you with the waves of enemies, as well as being a single target kind of nuking character. So she fills 2 roles. She's very good. She's also a chaos unit, or hero, sorry. I'm mixing other games here. But that means anytime she attacks, she's going to generate mana just from attacking. So she'll generate 1 mana each time she attacks. So she's very good. Very good character for fire for sure. She's even better than some of the fated fire characters. So if you have her, she's going to help you progress in the story mode for sure. The other one is Annie. So Annie actually has a fate core, but her regular character is also very good if you don't have her fate core. She has a 1 mana cost AoE attack, which is even better than Corgi's. She is a attack-based hero, so that means she's similar to Corgi. Chaos and attack also get 1 mana each time they attack. So as long as she attacks, she's going to gain 1 mana. And then her second ability is an even bigger AoE, but for 5 mana. So that's a little harder to get off, but also very strong. So she can clear a lot of enemy waves as well. So she's also a good character for fire. And then our last character is Pan. So Pan is actually a mana buffer for you. So he's going, or she, I don't know what gender this person is. His or her first effect actually removes all status effects. So if you have some kind of damage over time effect on you, he's going or she's going to remove it, and then also give all characters that you have 1 mana. So very nice, keeps your mana high, so you can keep spamming AoE attacks. And then it also has a 3-cost AoE attack that decreases defenses of the enemies. So 2 very, very good skills there, and even the passive is pretty good, where it cleanses DOT effects and debuffs from your allies. So very good there. The problem is it does have a support type, so that means it's only going to generate mana whenever it's attacked. So it can be kind of hard to, get up to this 2 mana cost. It needs to be attacked twice. But if you can, and then you start getting this effect rolling, it's very good, and it's just constant mana every turn pretty much. So Frost has 2 characters. The first one is Lepin. I actually use Lepin still, and I have a lot of pretty good characters. So let's take a look at her kit here. So her first attack is Light of Purification. It costs 2 mana and it only hits 1 enemy, but she does grant a heal over time effect to one of your allies, and then she cleanses all debuff and damage over time effects from the same target that got the heal over time, so that's very nice. And then for only 3 mana, she heals all of your allies by 13% of her max health. She cleanses all debuffs, And then she revives all dead allies, so a lot of value in that second effect there. She does have the support type, so again, she needs to be attacked to gain that mana. So that's a bit of a bummer, but still, what can you do? And then her passive is also very good, where she, if your ally drops to a certain amount of health, she will recover some of it. So that's very helpful in this story mode for sure. And then our second character for Ice is Karina. So her first attack is 2 mana. She deals 180% damage to one enemy, and then her turn resets if she kills that enemy. So she can kind of deal with multiple people at a time. If you pick and choose her attacks correctly on the right characters, if she kills someone, she then gets to attack again, which is very nice. Seeing that she is the Chaos type here, she's going to gain mana every time she attacks. And then her second attack is a huge hit. It deals 840% damage to one enemy, so she can really hit hard whenever she gets up to that 5 mana. Her final hit passive is actually kind of nice as well. If you hit an enemy and they don't quite die, they barely hang on, she can come in for free and pretty much just knock them out. So very nice. And then she's also good later on in the game here with that Dragon Hunter blessing, but you should go watch videos on Holy Dragon Grounds whenever you're there. But this is the two characters that I have for the Frost type. For nature, we have Karen. So Karen has a 3 mana cost first attack, which deals 210 damage to one enemy, and then it heals one ally by 40%, which is pretty big. And then she also cleanses all debuffs and damage over time from them, so very nice effect there. And then her second attack heals all allies by 27%, so also very good. Cleanses all debuffs, and then revives all dead allies. So she is a reviver in the nature element, which I think doesn't have a whole lot of strong characters, so she is a very nice character for her element for sure. And then she also has that first aid ability, just like Lepin did, so pretty good there. She is the support type, so she needs to generate mana by being attacked, which is a bummer, but again, what can you do? Next is Hewan. So Hewan's first attack deals 150% damage to one enemy, but he has a damage over time effect, so he's going to be breaking multiple Guardian Stones on those enemies that have a lot of Guardian Stones on them. As you progress into the story mode, you'll notice that the bosses have like 6 Guardian Stones or 4 Guardian Stones, 5 Guardian Stones. So these damage over time effects really come in handy, even if they're only attacking one enemy. And then his second attack deals 142% damage to all enemies, so an AoE on his second attack that also puts poison on everyone. So if you get this off, man, the enemy waves, a lot of Guardian Stones are going to be broken. He's also a Chaos type as well, so he's generating mana by just attacking. Very nice, very easy to get up to that 5 mana second attack there. And then our last character in nature is Astardi. So I actually really like this character. I still use her because I don't have strong fated nature heroes. So she is pretty much my nuker for the nature archetype. So let's take a look at her first effect here. Her first attack deals 420% damage to one enemy. So a very big attack just on her first attack option, and then her second attack option deals 840%. So she is purely a single target nuker, but very effective in her job. Basically, whenever you break a character, an enemy character, you can come in with either her first attack or her second attack and take them out just in one shot. So very nice. And then she also has this counter passive, so basically whenever she's attacked, she counters the enemy. Very helpful at the later stages in the story mode, as you'll be able to break multiple Guardian Stones just by her being attacked. And then she's also the attack subtype, so again, generating mana just by attacking. So next is Machine, and the first character actually came to a surprise to me, which is Yorm, which is a very common character in my opinion, but looking at her abilities, she actually can be pretty useful in a rather weak element, in my opinion. So her first attack deals 120% damage to one enemy, but then she has that damage over time effect called Bleed. So she's going to be able to break multiple Guardian Stones on one enemy, which is nice. And then Pouring Letters, she deals 71% damage to all enemies, so very nice. And then also puts that damage over time effect on them as well. So a fairly low mana requirement for a AoE with damage over time effects. So very nice there. And then she's also the Chaos subtype, so generating that mana. Very nice from Yorm, surprisingly. And then our other character in the machine archetype is Yao, which a lot of players still use to this day, even if they have very strong faded options. So her first attack is she increases all allies' attack by 32% of her own attack for 8 turns, which is a pretty long time. So giving your allies a boost in attack, very nice. And then she has this 4 mana cost, dealing 360 damage to one enemy, and then her turn resets if the target dies. So if you're getting this off, dealing 360% damage, you have a high likelihood of killing an enemy, which is then going to reset her turn. Very nice. And then she has the final hit passive as well, so anytime the enemy takes damage and their health is 10% or less, she's going to come in and try and finish them off. So very cool there. And then she's also that Chaos subtype, so generating mana is pretty easy for her. So moving on to Light. First off, we have Cybele. I use Cybele a lot whenever I was clearing the story mode. She has this first attack, which actually is free. It doesn't require any mana. She deals 20% damage to all enemies, which is absolutely nothing, but you're using her to pretty much break Guardian Stones, while also healing just a little bit of your allies. So she's dealing damage, even if it's just a little bit, but breaking multiple enemy stones, and then also cleansing debuffs and damage over time. So very, very nice free attack on that first attack. And then her second attack, she heals all allies by 13%, which isn't a whole lot, but it's not bad. And then cleanses all debuffs, and then also revives all dead allies for just a mana cost of 3. So very nice. And then also that first aid ability, but with the support subtype, so she needs to basically be attacked to generate mana. So that is her one downside, but very, very valuable character. Like I said, I used her a lot whenever I was clearing the story mode. And then our second character in the Light subtype is, so Metron's first attack is grants reflect damage to all allies for 16 turns and gives them gain mana. So whenever he uses this, anytime the enemies attack your character, it's going to reflect the damage back to them, which is going to help you break stones, and then they also gain 1 mana, so very valuable first attack there. And then the second attack is a kind of nuke attack, deals 420% to one enemy, and then also has a damage over time effect. So again, breaking multiple Guardian Stones, on bosses later in the story mode. And then also that Chaos subtype, so being able to generate mana pretty easily. So our last element is Dark, and our first character is Adams, and I found it funny that I chose him because if you ever look in the story mode suggestion board on how to beat the level, there is someone in there that always talks about Adams and how you only need Adams. It's kind of like a meme, but he actually is a pretty good character. He has this first attack where it deals 300% damage to one enemy, so pretty strong hitting ability for only 2 mana cost. And then he has a 600% damage to one enemy for 4 mana cost, so pretty hard hitting character for Dark. And then he also has the counter ability as well, and it can generate mana pretty easily with that attack subtype. And then our last character here is Teria. I think that's how you pronounce that. So her first attack is only a 2 mana cost AoE ability, deals 102% damage, which is actually pretty hard hitting for only 2 mana. And then her second attack deals 300% to one enemy, and then it decreases the defense by 45%. So pretty good. decent nuke ability on the second attack while also decreasing the defense for 4 mana, and then also has a support subtype, so she only generates mana whenever she's attacked. So that is her one downside, but her you're mainly using her for her first attack being only a 2 mana AoE attack. So that's what I got for you guys today. Just some characters that might help you progress through that story mode. You really want to get through it as fast as you can to unlock those more challenging challenges to get Star of Fates, to get the Fated Gear, and then just open those challenges to get better items throughout the game, get further on through the story mode to unlock those exploration levels to get better drops. So that should be your goal. I hope these characters help you get there. I hope this kind of character guide helped you. So, let me know in the comment section below if it does, if you guys use any of these characters, if you haven't used them before and now you're using them and it helped. It will really let me know that this helped you guys, and it's going to help people further down the road, whenever they come into this game. So thank you very much for watching this video, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. Zeppelin out.